Well, howdy folks. This is Scott McLean. I'm the lead designer on Forge here at Affinity, and we wanted to put together a short video showing some cool things you can do with timers in the new scripting system that we have in Forge and Halo 2 Anniversary. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see here, I've got a small little island that I've cobbled together with some of the Forge structure pieces and some of the new terrain pieces. And on the island, we've got an EMP tower from our remake of Coagulation, and we have one of the animated gates from our remake of Zanzibar, Stone Town, and a little gate switch right there, and a simple switch on here for the EMP tower. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the property, the object options for the switch, go down to scripting, and see that the switch is already defined to use broadcast channel 1, and this is just a switch on, it's not a toggle. And we'll take a look at the EMP tower, and it's also set to receive broadcast channel 1. So when I use this switch, it's going to fire the EMP tower off, and that'll be it. The EMP tower won't reset, and because this isn't a toggle, it'll just stay that way. But what I can do is come into, let's go into place object, we're going to go into scripting, go down to timers, and I want to grab timer off. And let's take a look at this. Now timer off, what's going to happen is I'm going to open the properties on that and go into scripting. And I've talked about this timers before in the scripting tutorial we did. So if you watched that, you may be familiar with it already. But we have timer user data is how often the timer is going to broadcast an off signal on its assigned broadcast channel. We're going to go ahead and set this to say 10 seconds. And then I'm going to go up here in the broadcast channel, and we remember the EMP tower is set to 1. But I'm also going to do this power channel here, and I'm going to set the power channel to 1 as well. Now what's going to happen is every 10 seconds when the timer is turned on, remember it's power channel 1, as long as the power channel as long as the timer is turned on, every 10 seconds it will broadcast an off message to broadcast channel 1. But because the power channel is also set to 1, that when the timer broadcasts off on channel 1, it will turn off the timer, and then the timer will stop and not fire off again until it gets an on signal, which is what will be happening from the switch on here. So I'm going to jump in the game really quick, and I'm going to walk up to the EMP tower, and I get a prompt to hold X to use from the switch on. I'm going to go ahead and hold X, and you're going to see that the EMP tower fires off, and it animates closed, and it'll sit there. But if we wait just a little bit, eventually the timer off will fire off, and it sends an off impulse to broadcast channel 1, which resets the EMP tower to its default state, but it also turned itself off, so now it'll just wait. So if you wanted, say, a longer interval, whatever interval you want, you come into the scripting properties for the timer off, and you can just, whatever time you want in seconds, this timer user data field down at the bottom is how long that'll be. That's actually pretty much how we set it up in the Coagulation remake. We have one of these that handles it. I think it's on 45-second interval. So every 45 seconds after you've used the EMP tower, this fires off message across its broadcast channel and resets the tower. We can also do the same thing. I'll go ahead and duplicate this here. We use the same thing over here. Now, those of you who are familiar with the scripting stuff in Halo 2 Anniversary Forge probably know that this garage door switch here activates on damage. I'm going to go ahead and look at the properties on this again. You can see it's set up to use broadcast channel 2. So when this switch receives damage, if you shoot it or it's caught an explosion or something like that, it will define broadcast channel 2 as on. Now we'll take a look at the properties on the garage door here, and we'll see that it is also listening to broadcast channel 2. So basically what's going to happen is when this switch takes damage, this garage door will animate into its open position. But because this garage door switch only works by receiving damage and fires an on message on its broadcast channel on damage, there's no way to close the door again automatically. But that's where this timer comes in. So we'll take this timer, move it over here so we can see it a little bit better. I'm going to come into the properties on the timer, and I'm going to go ahead and change the power channel and the broadcast channel on the timer here, the timer off, to 2, and we'll leave this at 10 seconds just so we can see it a little bit more easily. I'm going to unselect that. We'll drop into the map, into play mode, and now we'll see I'm going to shoot the garage door switch, and the garage door begins to animate into its open position because the broadcast channel 2 is now defined as on. But then we'll wait a bit, and at the 10-second mark, you'll see that the light comes back on the garage door switch, and the garage door begins to animate back to its closed position because now broadcast channel 2 has been defined as off thanks to this timer here. And that's pretty much it. It's just a little trick you can do to automatically have events happen to reset things that you do with your scripting work in Halo 2 Forge Anniversary. Hope that this was very helpful for everyone. From all of us here at Certain Affinity, thanks for watching, and Forge on.